Over $3 million have already been backed on Kickstarter for this, the Titan II Elite. Hey guys, it's me, Ole, and this is my first real hands-on of the newest addition to the Unihertz Titan family, the Unihertz Titan II Elite. Unihertz have already sent me their review unit of the Titan II Elite, the successor to the recently released Titan II. And it's just crazy how much attention those QWERTY phones are getting and how many people want their physical keyboard phones back. If you didn't know, Unihertz has been producing phones with keyboards for a while now with the Titan series. Phones like the Titan, Titan Pocket, or the Titan Slim. But they never really grabbed my attention as they just didn't look really good and the keyboard just wasn't good enough. But things changed when they released the Titan II in 2025. It had a better look, better features, and a better keyboard. However, it still felt like a concept phone in my opinion. It was really thick, had a gimmicky display on the back, and I never really enjoyed it as much as I wanted to. And less than a year later, Unihertz announced this, the Titan II Elite, at MWC in Barcelona. And I was lucky enough to see it hands-on back in March when I was there. It's smaller, nicer looking, has a better display. It's not smaller though when you look at it from the sides. I've used it for the past 2.5, 3 days very intensely, and I will share my hands-on impressions with you now. Looking at the outside of the device, you can definitely see where the phone got its roots from, and that is the regular Titan II. As I said, it has roughly the same thickness, same colorway if you opt for the black version, and even the back looks similar to it. On the front, you'll find a 4.03-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080 by 1200 pixels and a 120 Hz refresh rate. So it's not square and it's a little bit taller than wide. It's super bright, super sharp, and it's a real gem to use. Inside of this display, there is a hole punch camera with 32 megapixels in the top left that can be used for face unlock. Below this display, you'll find the 4-row touch-sensitive physical QWERTY keyboard, and I can finally say that this keyboard is so much better than any other keyboard on any Titan series phone. But we'll get back to the keyboard later on in the video. Below the function key, you'll find a microphone, and on the bottom there's nothing but a USB-C port which charges the 4050 mAh carbon silicon battery with up to 33 watts. Battery should last you for about a day, or maybe you have to charge it when you're 3/4 into your day, but I haven't used it enough to really comment on battery life, so stay tuned for my full review. On the right side you can see another microphone, I think, a power button that also houses a really good fingerprint sensor, but I feel like the power button is placed a little too low, making it less ergonomic. Below that is a red programmable function key. On the top you'll find an IR blaster, which I wouldn't need, and I would gladly swap it for a 3.5mm headphone jack that this phone doesn't have. And given its thickness, I feel like it should have that port, but I guess they just could not make it fit. And next to that, there is a top-firing loudspeaker. The sound quality is okay, nothing great, nothing bad, but also nothing worth pointing out. It doesn't have a lot of bass, but it's pretty loud. On the left side, you can find the volume rocker and a SIM card tray that also houses a microSD card slot. In my previous video about the Titan II Elite, I wrongly stated that this phone does not have an external SD card slot, but it does, so you can install microSD cards into the phone. So Unihertz, I'm very sorry for messing that up. I really like that they also added some red details on the rubber seal of that slot, but I don't understand why they don't use that red color in their marketing materials, because the Titan series always has some red accents. Also, that red rubber seal makes you think that this phone might have some kind of waterproofing, but I couldn't find anything about that on the internet. On the back, it houses two 50-megapixel cameras. One is a normal one and one is a telephoto lens. We'll get to the cameras in more detail later on. Next to them is a flash and another microphone. Other than that, the back is rather uninspiring. It's just a plain black plastic cover saying Unihertz on the bottom. It doesn't feel premium, it isn't really grippy, and because of that it feels rather fragile, even though the side frame is tough and rugged. So I think I would definitely use it with a case once that case comes available. And talking about ergonomics in general, because of its small height, you just sometimes would love to have more room to place your finger on the back, which is not the camera bump. Also, it does feel a little bit top heavy when handling it, and also because of its thick sides, it feels wider than it actually is. It's roughly about the same width as an iPhone 16 Pro Max or 17 Pro Max or something like that. Also, they build it in a very compact way with almost no spacing between the display and the keyboard and below the keyboard. And that sometimes makes it a little awkward to hold and type, as it feels like you need to move your fingers pretty far down to reach the navigation keys on the bottom row. And also, now is a great time to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay updated with the newest videos about QWERTY phones and niche devices. So if you didn't do that already, do that now. So I have the black version here, but it's also available in an orange copper colorway. I would always choose the black one as I just prefer the way it looks. All in all, I like the way it looks on the front. I like the way the sides look. I love how it looks when you have it placed on your desk while working. However, I do really dislike the back side of this phone. Anyway, let's move on to the internals. So here's the thing. The Titan 2 Elite will be available in two variants. First, the regular one, which I have here, which they will begin shipping in June of 2026. And there will also be a Pro variant, which they will ship beginning from October of this year. The regular Titan 2 comes with a Dimensity 7400 series octa-core processor, 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. And the Pro version comes with the Dimensity 8400 octa-core processor, also 12GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. Cameras are the same, although the main camera on the Pro version has a 50 megapixel optical image stabilized module. Other than that, everything else will stay the same between the two. So the dimensions, the display, and also the battery. So I'm very interested in how the battery will hold up between the two variants. Other than that, it has 5G, runs on Android 16, will receive updates until Android 20, and has security patches until 2031. Please keep in mind that everything I share here was using a pre-production model of the phone, so it could definitely be that Unihertz might still be improving things with software fixes here and there. So this is just the current state and we'll see how things progress. So that being said, let's continue to the cameras. And I can say they are a bit of a hit and miss. Because of the small form factor, you rest your finger on the camera bump, which means that the glass covering the lenses gets smudged easily. So you need to clean off the glass before taking pictures. Images can be good, sometimes, and I was really surprised with the video quality. When taking images, they tend to overexpose though, so I had to turn down the brightness a bit in order to make them right. In low light, it's pretty hard to get a solid image, and it struggles a bit with white balance. But again, all of this could improve with software updates, and I'm really curious on how the Pro version will handle photos. The front camera looks good. It's a bit soft, but it's more than enough for occasional selfies or video calling, and I like the quality of it. You do have to remember though that it's in the top left corner. And now let's get to the part this phone is all about, its keyboard. And I gotta say, it's really good. This is the first time they produced a keyboard that looks like the ones we've loved, with proper 4 rows, navigation and shift keys that are on the bottom, and keys that overall have a very good size. They are angled so they feel nice on your thumbs, and they click really nicely. I immediately got used to it and I was able to type with almost no mistakes from the get-go. I really enjoy typing on it. However, there is a small issue with the spacebar, which is just not as clicky as the other keys, and I feel like it's just a little bit wobbly, but this could be because it's a pre-production model. I do have to get used to the 0 key in the top left corner though, because where it normally would be now is the home button. Speaking of which, you can find the home and back button between the shift and space key on the bottom left, and a multitasking key next to the spacebar on the right. I think that's a super cool place and way to put them, and I use them all of the time to navigate through the phone very quickly. I set up my function key to be a control key, and I can easily copy, paste or select my text. And of course, each and every key can be assigned to be shortcuts to do certain tasks or open certain apps. I installed the Niagara launcher on my phone that enables me to quickly search for apps right from the launcher and do cool shortcuts like Control, which is function key, and A to make my agenda pop up. The keyboard is also touch sensitive, so you can use it to scroll through web pages and even use it in mouse mode to have a trackpad on the left and scroll pad on the right. And I think that's some pretty cool stuff. And I think the touch scroll feature is implemented in a very nice way, so you can scroll through single reels on Instagram, swipe between images and more without any issues. Sometimes I did find that it acted up a little on certain apps like the Niagara launcher, where it thought it pressed something but didn't. I think a little space between the keyboard and the display would have been nice, because sometimes when you want to close some apps with the swipe gesture, you get your fingers stuck on the keys. Also, a little space below the keyboard would have been nice, because having the keyboard so close to the edge of the device makes it a little bit less ideal when typing, because it just doesn't feel as natural as it could be. The phone performed really nicely in everyday use. I didn't notice any crashes or hiccups so far, and that was with the lower processor. Especially with the Niagara launcher that I installed on all of my devices, it felt really nice. The display, of course, isn't optimized for social media consumption, but there is a feature to get a better view of the content with putting black bars on the left and right side. Call quality was very nice, people understood me very clearly. I wish that it would be a little bit clearer on the Titan side with me hearing other people, but it wasn't a big issue and it's completely fine. Currently on Kickstarter, this phone is $389 US for the regular version, and it will ship in June of this year, and the Pro version is $479 US and it will ship in October of this year. Personally, to be honest, I feel like the regular one is totally enough for the kind of phone this wants to be, I feel like, but I'll definitely check out the Pro version and check out if it's worth it. So as you can see, I have heavily used this phone for the past days, and I generally feel like this is the best phone Unihertz have ever built. It feels like a great step up from the first Titan, and still a very significant step up from the regular Titan 2. But this phone is not flawless, of course. And I feel like it could have been better if they put in more time into the design process of the device. Because I saw on Kickstarter on their page that they initiated a project in June of 2025, and they finished the industrial design phase in December of the same year, which is very quick. But all in all, I think that this is a very solid phone, and it's something you should definitely keep in mind if you are in the market for a smartphone that has a physical keyboard. And judging from their Kickstarter success, there are more people that feel the same way. And it seems like there still definitely is an audience for physical keyboard devices. And also, the Communicator by Clicks, which is the main competitor of this phone, is going to be released in this year. And as from what I know, is that they will show working prototypes very soon. So I'm very excited on how this phone will compare to the Titan 2 Elite, especially because they do look so similar on first glance and even share some parts. A lot of people have asked me how the Titan 2 Elite feels compared to the Clicks Communicator, and I'm lucky enough to have handled the Titan 2 Elite as well as the Communicator prototype. And based on initial feels, I have to say that the Communicator does feel a bit more thought out. With the tucked in edges, with the more spacious design, I feel like it's a little bit better. But, and that's a big but, I have not seen, I have not seen the working prototype of the Clicks Communicator, so I can't really comment on that. As soon as I have that working prototype in hands, or as soon as I can see a working device, I will definitely compare the two devices and share a video with you guys. And until then, I will try to keep low with comparisons because we all just don't know. But if you want to stick around and find out how the Titan 2 Elite feels in a long-term review, or how the Clicks Communicator will compare to the Titan 2 Elite, definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel to stay updated with the newest videos I upload about QWERTY phones and niche devices. Leave a comment in the comment section below on your opinion. What do you think about the Titan 2 Elite? Is it something worth getting, or are you waiting for something else? Also give the video a like if you liked it, and also follow me on my social media channels where I post a lot of stuff that I talk about here a little bit earlier than on YouTube. So do that, you see them right now. That's it for this video. That was a lot of talking, but I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see us next time. Bye.